somewhere over Colombia, high above the Amazonian rainforest near the borders with Brazil. A DC-3, an old prop plane, is caught in a violent tropical storm. Captain Raul is trying to get above the clouds. San Jose, come in. We're entering your airspace. No visibility and no reply on the radio. And no question, Flight 3037 is in trouble. To stabilize the twin-engined aircraft, Raul tries to bypass the worst of the storm. But amidst the turbulence and without radio contact, he seems unable to get back on the right flight path. His co-pilot Maria also appears to be lost. In the rear, the passengers are growing increasingly uneasy, but Colombians are fatalistic and above all, fervent Catholics. Flying is risky and it does scare me, but I trust in God and the man who's flying this aircraft. Fortunately, the ancient DC-3 has a guardian angel, Tito, the mechanic. He checks every suspect noise, and on these old DC-3s, the mechanical problems are frequent and sometimes fatal. On flights like these, the greatest danger is not the storm or mechanical faults. It's the jungle 2,000 meters below. The Amazon jungle, a green hell. An impenetrable jungle twice the size of Texas. And the pilot's greatest fear, the low visibility of the aircraft. Below, there is no space for emergency landings. Any breakdown will mean the plane will crash. And then it's curtains. Divine intervention or the skill of Captain Raul means the plane has succeeded in steering clear of the storm. The passengers will arrive as scheduled at Caraquara, a small Indian village. The runway, or what passes for one, is in view. Here there is no control tower. Everything is done the old-fashioned way as it was back in the 1920s and 30s. Intuition, judgment, and experience. The landing zone is slippery and pitted with holes. It's also way too short. Pilots need to be able to land virtually right at the start of the runway. I reduced the speed as much as I could. I landed right at the start of the runway, so the wheels friction would help me bring the plane to a halt. It slid a bit, but it wasn't too bad. Today, the same left engine is playing up again. The fault is located after a short period. It appears to be the pump. In the US, to fix the pump, they take the entire engine off the plane. Here in Colombia, we're quicker. We fix it right there and then. So Delca isn't smiling either. The engine has a serious problem. It needs to be dismounted and taken to the workshop 200 meters away. It's not just the pump. It's probably something else. It might take a day to fix the pump. We could fix it. But if it turns out to be more serious, it could take as long as 1 or 2 weeks. The storm certainly won't help matters either. There's a power cut, but that won't stop our 2 geniuses, however. In Colombia, the light from a mobile is enough to repair a plane's engine by. Despite the unpredictable weather, the captain has decided to fly. The pouring rain may have penetrated the petrol tanks, something that could cause the engines to shut down in mid-flight. We check by taking a sample to make sure we don't need to drain the tanks, so as to get the rainwater out. The petrol is clean though, so it's a green light. After that, the plane is loaded. This is when the captain and the shipping agent wrestle over the payload. To make more money, Pablo tries to lie about the weight, but Raul is keeping an eye on him. The plane can carry no more than 1.5 tons. Any more, and the captain will simply refuse to take off. It's dangerous. The slightest problem, and the plane will just fall out of the sky. That's why we have to watch the weight of the cargo, because if something breaks down, then we'll have enough time to keep flying and to be able to jettison any superfluous loads so we can complete the flight. Vegetables, beds, dogs, chickens, TV sets. In Colombia, DC-3s look more like rural buses. Anything is transported, even cocaine. And the police check to make sure there's none on board. With fuel kept to a minimum, each extra kilo counts. Too much fuel and the plane will be too heavy to take off. Not enough, and it could mean a crash in the jungle. $140. Is that enough? Well, just about. There's just enough to get there. Judging the exact amount of fuel is a constant worry for the captain. How much more do we need, Captain? We've put 20 in here and 20 at the back. That's 150 plus 20. That's 170. He wants to steer clear of the crowds of children who get in the way of taking off, but mostly he wants to avoid flying at night. See, the kids don't realize the danger. They run around playing on the landing strip like it was their playground. I have to take great care when they're scattered around in front of a plane like that. The return flight to Villavicencio. For 2 hours, the plane will overfly the jungle again. The passengers aren't comfortable. If they were to crash, their chances of survival are slim. Even if they did survive the wild animals and conditions, they would face another danger.